know I try to be a good man. I always give it my best. But truth be told, someday I want to go to the wild, wild west.
And now, live from our Smokehouse studio, it's time for Real Estate Jerky. All your real estate questions answered by our provocatively lean expert host, Ed Parcaut, MBA, veteran, and president of Lending for Living. And today's special expert guest, real estate advice you won't find anywhere else. Plenty to chew on, starting now.
Well, good afternoon. It's great to be here. I'm here with my special guest, Betsy Hurst-Younger. She's a realtor from Century 21 Wildwood Properties in Twain Harte. And she's been on the show a few times. And Betsy, thanks for coming in today.
It's great, just like every time. And I'm glad to be down here.
Great to have you again.
Thank you.
You know, a lot of people don't realize, but we've been doing this a year. A little over a year. I cannot believe it's been a year. So it's an anniversary kind of show. We're talking about, our first show was the why we're doing this. And we're going to go over that a little bit more today. And get into it. So it's really crazy how fast this year has went. Things have changed in the industry. Currently interest rates are so low. Again, we're back to below 2016 interest rates, and they look at like they're going to go lower than that, and it'll be the lowest we've ever seen in history.
That's great.
Yeah. So if I have a script that Marlene gives me each week, and I try to stay on it. But basically, what I want to talk about, if you thinking about refinancing, thinking about purchasing or whatever, now would be the time to do it because rates are so much lower. You can afford more than you could afford before.
Well, and I agree. And our inventory is up and prices are coming down a little bit. It'll be great for buyers right now.
But when you talk about inventory up, we're up a little bit. We're not up to 6 months, right? We're in the
depends on what area you're in.
Well, on average, it's about 1.5 to 2 months from certain numbers I've seen. Tuolumne County, where are they at?
We're about 4 months.
4 months? Still not. So we're still not at a balanced market. So it's still a good time to buy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And in most areas, it's anything under a certain price point is a seller's market. Anything above the certain price point is a buyer's market. And I think that's still going on everywhere.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Okay. I mean, you are the head of... What are you the head of at the CAR or something?
I'm the Region 7 chairperson for the California Association of Realtors. We have 32 regions in the state, and ours just happens to be right in the middle.
I mean, because basically you talk to a lot of people from different areas. So what counties does that cover?
Oh, Amador, Tuolumne, Mariposa, Stanislaus.
Is that San Joaquin?
San Joaquin, Merced.
And Merced.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
So basically, you know a lot that's going on in the valley. Basically, you've talked to people.
Calaveras also.
Right, in the valley, what's going on. And I keep wanting to tell people that, a lot of people are like, I think I want to sell my home and wait for the drop in the market.
To buy.
And I still don't see that. And from what I'm hearing, it's not going to happen, especially if we go with the way the rates are going with the bonds right now. They're saying the bond is going to go down to 130 for most people who don't know. Right before the Fed lowered interest rates, the bond was at 2.4 or something right around there. Now it's at 1.63 on Wednesday, I think, this week. And we're seeing that's supposedly going to go down to 130.
And that's the rate that they're earning on their bonds?
Yeah, basically what that has to do is that is what drives interest rates, one of the factors, right? I mean, the 10-year bond really kind of shows where the market's going and everything because you have all the European markets who are constantly right now lowering their rates, and now they have negative rates. And so in order to compete, so the question is, how far are we going to go with ours to compete also, And with the tariffs and other stuff going on right now, until that's fixed, it's just going to continue to go down because people want to do flight to safety for their money.
No, I would suggest if you want to buy, you do it now.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and even if it's
and
not
like you said, refinance, you're going to check on rates for us.
Right.
To see if we can save some money.
And you will.
Yeah.
I just, typically sometimes when you get into a program, certain programs have where you have to make 6 payments before you can refinance and you have to do that kind of stuff. And, sometimes they don't, but sometimes they do, and you have to be careful with that. But if you're thinking about refinancing, and make sure that it's the right thing for you to do. Don't just do it because you want the lower rate. Make sure that the costs aren't too expensive. Make sure that you're not paying too much. Because right now in this environment, we keep telling people, lower your interest rate, but don't get a lot of costs involved with it because we might see it even lower in 6 months from now or a year from now. So please don't, because a lot of people want to pay points and get the lowest you possibly can. I don't agree with that.
When you're talking about thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 1 point is 1% of your loan amount. So if you have a $300,000 loan amount, that could be $3,000.
$3,000. Yep.
And if you only save $20 or just to say $50, divide that into that $3,000, how long is it going to take you? And that could be 120 months. That's almost 10 years.
Right.
So, all right. Well, I should get back to my script.
Do the math.
Yes, right. And if you need help with anything, a lot of people know I've been doing this show, like I keep saying, for a year, and I haven't promoted myself. It wasn't all about promoting me and my company and what we're doing. It was all about helping people understand that what we all went through in the Great Recession should not keep you from buying a house for the rest of your life.
Right.
Because a lot of kids went through it and they saw their parents lose their home. A lot of people saw, that right there stopped a lot of generation of millennials from wanting to buy because of what they went through. So the whole purpose of the show was to get that information out there that, no, you want to own a home. It's all about building personal wealth through home ownership. For most people, that is the only way they can do it. They don't put money in their retirement, the 401k, 403bs, those kind of things. So it's important to own a home.
Right.
But I mean, and there's still people who the American dream is maybe not buying a home, right? There's that small part of the population who think that I want to rent. The issue with renting is you have no control over where you live, meaning that, yeah, you have a lease, but in a year from now, whenever the lease is up, they can raise that rent on you so much per month. Is there a maximum they can raise it?
I don't think there is.
Okay.
I don't think there is. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't have rent control, so just depends.
So if you want control over your life and where you live, buy a home. And in this market, for most people, it's cheaper to own a home than it is to rent.
Right now, where we're at, I think you can find a 3-bedroom, 2-bath for around $1,800 a month. And what kind of a mortgage would that be?
You mean how? You mean
payment-wise?
Is that rent-wise?
Yeah, rent-wise, $1,800 a month for rent.
Yeah, so you're looking at probably close to $300,000.
Right.
Yeah, and in your market, that's a decent house. You can still find that in your market.
And you can do FHA, 3.5%.
Or in your market, USDA. Why would you do? Yeah, I
exactly.
mean, I would
100% financing.
Correct, and that's in rural areas. You can do 100% financing. Just check with whoever you're working with, and if you have nobody to talk to, give me a call at #250. Say the key phrase "Real Estate Jerky," and by the way, you'll get into us. You'll ring either our office or it'll ring my cell phone, which
Great.
most people don't know.
I'm going to try that.
Go for it. Do it right now. What else do we want to go over before? So with the what have you seen a major change up in your area recently? We have a few minutes before we go to break.
Recent major changes. Sometimes it is a little difficult to get fire insurance, but people are obtaining fire insurance.
No,
it shouldn't scare anyone away.
Right. Aren't they split? It's usually now can be 2 policies, one with a normal company and one with the fair plan, right?
Correct.
And it's pretty much, from what I saw when I started, we got our cabin, the numbers I see for policies for insurance is not that much more than what I was paying before. It's just split between 2 parties.
Right.
Right. Basically.
You get a California Fair Plan, and then you'll get a supplemental policy.
Correct.
And you can get a California Fair Plan. Some people get them for around that $1,900 a month, and then they get the supplemental.
You mean a year?
Oh, sorry, a year.
That's okay.
I was thinking rent. I know.
That's all right. Just
And
want to
then
make
you
sure
get
we're
the
clear.
supplemental, and it's another $500. So it just depends on who you're talking to, and we still have insurance agents available for you to talk to and get a policy.
Right. You just have to.
I just want to make it so that rumor that's out there that says you can't get insurance is not true.
Right.
You can.
Right. Well, I mean, and rumors are out there. I mean, prime example, right? My son's in Army boot camp, right? And they phase up. Once they get to a certain point, they phase up and go to the next level. We've been hearing through Facebook that his company didn't phase up. And then we get a letter yesterday that last week he phased up. Yeah. And so you have to be careful what you hear. It's not always the truth. So find a professional, work with them, and they can tell you what's going on. Call Betsy. Betsy, what's your phone number?
209-604-2609.
One more time.
209-604-2609.
And if she doesn't work in the area you're looking at, she can help refer you to the right person in that area, because it's really important to get referred to the right person.
It is.
The right professional from the beginning.
Well, and with the company, Century 21 that I work with, we're all over. But the contacts that I have through the California Association of Realtors does help.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to step out to a break. Hey, we'll be right back after this break. Remember, if you want to get a hold of us, the easiest way to get a hold of us is hit pound 250 from your mobile phone. Say the key phrase Real Estate Jerky. You can leave us your comments on Facebook or Twitter, and we'll talk to you when we get back.
Yeah, and the board office has sent out a survey for everybody, and some of their questions on that survey are going to lead to negative stuff, and it shouldn't. Yeah.
Jose Jerky texting me, IMing me.
Huh?
He switched offices, got some deals done, blah, blah, blah. Jose Jerky.
Oh, okay.
Okay, where are we going next on this?
Oh, what did the script say?
We didn't,
'Cause you didn't
we
talk
didn't
about-
finish some of the stuff.
Well, we kind of went over, I didn't say that I do reverse mortgages, but I talked about that, the reason why we did this. But we can keep going. We got all of it to reiterate. It's we got like 3 more segments.
Yeah, so the next piece, you guys talk about you. Really, how'd you get into this?
About how did you start Real Estate Jerky?
No, how did you get into real estate?
Oh, me? That's this page.
Yeah.
So yes, so Ed is gonna ask you how you, let's see.
How
Let me see your script.
And I was supposed to ask.
Yeah, we didn't do the first part about those first 2 things. We can always come back to them.
Yeah. That's why I said, where are we going now?
So you're.
So I'm going to come back in
Second
and then
time.
we'll say, and
Then-
Betsy, we're going to go back to the intro on the next page, which says intro 2, and then we come back in. How'd you get into real estate? You explain that. And then you say, wait, Ed, weren't you in the middle?
So Ed's gonna go.
So when you ask me about how and why I got into real estate.
You say, wait,
And then I say, wait, so I don't really answer you.
no, I wanna know how, and I wanna know how, wait, Ed, I wanna know how you got into real estate. Weren't you in the military first? How'd you, yeah.
Yeah,
that
and then again, as it flows, it just these are exactly what she wants to make sure we cover through the thing.
Right.
Right, because this is all about, this is the first anniversary. Why are we doing this? Who are you people? You know, we've listened to all these guests and stuff for a year, but who are you? And why are you doing this? You know, so,
This is going to be on YouTube, all this?
yes.
Long-lasting Real Estate Jerky is back on Power Talk 1360 KFIV.
And we're back. For those of you just turning in, I'm Ed Parcaut, your mortgage advisor with Lending for Living, and your host, along with my guest, Betsy Hurst-Younger. She is a realtor with Century 21 Wildwood Properties up in Twain Harte. All right, Betsy. So first, we're talking about why we're doing this. For the last year, we've been talking with people coming on, talking about what they do and everything that's important for our listeners to know. But we want to get back to why we're doing this. So I want to ask you, why, how, and when did you get into real estate?
Wait. Ed, we want to know how you got into real estate. Weren't you in the military first?
Yeah, I was in the military, and then I was in San Diego, and then I got out and I got in the mortgage industry, and that's how I started years ago. But enough about me for right now. Let's go with you. How did you get into real estate? Start from,
The beginning?
The beginning of time.
I was a mom with 3 kids and needed to figure out a way where I could support myself and my children. So I was told I had the gift of gab, and I decided, since I already had a construction background and had already drawn house plans when my ex-husband was a building contractor, that real estate was probably the way to go. So that's what I did. And it allowed me the flexibility to be able to drop my kids off at school, pick them up at school, sponsor their sports programs, sponsor their, the different teams that they were on, have my name on the back of their jerseys because I was advertising, but it was still me spending time with my kids.
Now, didn't you do flips and stuff back in the day before it was a big thing?
Back in the day in Morro Bay.
I don't know where it
Yeah.
was. I'm just asking questions.
And that would be in the mid-'80s. We did. We would do flips. We'd do new construction.
Didn't you use student loans or something to do that?
In the beginning, we started by borrowing out student loans. My student loans are paid off. I've said that. Yes.
I guess that's one way to use them.
Yeah. Well, we needed them to survive. So survival was also building houses and flipping and making money on a sale of $139,000 in Morro Bay.
Wow.
You can't find anything anywhere close to that in Morro Bay now.
Well, of course not. It's been that was I don't know.
A long time ago.
Yeah, again, let me get my calculator.
It was in the
out.
80s.
Where's my apathist, or whatever they call that thing?
Abacus.
Thank you. And it's amazing. I mean, even when I was in San Diego in the late 80s, early 90s, I mean, it was inexpensive to still buy down there. I mean, $180,000 for $300,000 was nothing.
Right.
But back then, it was a lot of money compared to where it is now. So,
Right. Well, we moved from Morro Bay to Alamo, which is the East Bay, and bought a fixer-upper for $325,000.
all right. So you started there, and let's get all the way to Twain Harte. So how did you go from that? I mean, because it's amazing that a lot of people use their student loans to survive in college while they're going to school and getting their degrees, and they, get a lot of student loan debt. I'm glad that you paid yours off, but I've run into people who have $240,000 in debt, $480,000 in debt. For me, it's not that important for my kids to go to college. It's more important for them to have a career and figure out what they're doing. So how did you get from Morro Bay to the next place up to Twain Harte?
Oh, taking the kids skiing up in Yosemite National Park and turning up to Sonora instead of turning back down to go to Oakdale. We drove around. We thought it was a nice place to live. We thought our children would be safe there, and we were right. And we eventually moved there, and the kid's dad commuted down to Oakdale because by that time he was working in his family feed and grain business. And then I went to work as a realtor, and that was 22 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time flies.
You've sold a lot of houses. You've been in real estate a long time when you can drive through different roads and streets and say, oh, I've been in that house. I've been in that house. I remember the people that bought that house. Yeah.
Well, and I'm going to talk about me now, but we'll keep going with you. But same thing with me. I drive certain neighborhoods up there. Oh, I did the loan on that house.
Right.
I had the loan on that.
Does it take you over an hour to get through the grocery store?
No,
Okay.
it doesn't. I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Most of the people I know, they don't meet me personally, right? We
Right.
talk to them over the phone. We occasionally meet with them. We Zoom in, with the different technologies, because people are so busy. They really want them to come into the office and sit down with you and go over the plan, because it's really important to have the right plan in place, because the lowest interest rate can be the most expensive loan for you over the time.
Right.
So it's important to meet with the person and make sure they're doing the right thing for you. So,
Well, and also be conscious of what the market's doing, because if you do have equity that grows, then you can refinance and knock off some of that.
right. And
Debt.
correct. And also, a lot of people want to refinance and get rid of their mortgage insurance because in the past, mortgage insurance wasn't tax deductible. But for most people, they're not even going to write off their interest on the loan. That's not the purpose of buying the home. The purpose of buying the home is a place to live and also to build personal wealth through home ownership, right?
Right.
So I look at the numbers, and because we up in your area, we do a lot of FHA, a lot of USDA, and it doesn't make sense to go to a conventional rate because they're in the threes, and if they go to a conventional rate, they're in the fours. It costs them more money. It's better for them to stay in the loan program they're in.
Right.
But you don't know that unless you talk to somebody. All right, so you got up to Sonora over 20 years ago, and you're in Twain Harte now. And anything new going to happen? I should know. Leaving soon, retiring soon? Nope.
Oh, I'm going to go on a trip.
Where you going?
We're going to Leavenworth, Washington, a little Bavarian town in the mountains.
What are you going to do there?
We'll just kind of tour around, relax, work on my computer.
So is your husband making you leave your phone home, or?
No, I'll have my phone and my computer both.
All right, so you're always connected is what you're saying.
When you're in real estate, you have to be very flexible. You have to be on call, and you have to be able to work 7 days a week.
But you'd have a lot of free time in between those 7 days, though, right? You take a few hours here and there during the day so that
When I'm on vacation?
No, in general.
Oh, in general, I like to give back to the community, and so a lot of that has
So what's important to you in the community up there? What do you work with?
interfaith social services. I try and promote the need that they have for toothbrushes and shampoos and conditioners, things for children that people don't understand that they're in need of. Like kids' toothbrushes and toothpaste, fun stuff.
Deodorant,
And,
what?
well, deodorants, yeah,
Personal items.
exactly. Toiletries.
Well, people
They
can't
need
see your face.
clothes and things like that, but they also need things that help them survive on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice you
And
get
that's been really close to my heart for a long time. And the Board of Realtors in Tuolumne County has in the past been one of their largest supporters. And we also do fundraising for canned food,
And that what you said was interfaith.
interfaith social services in Sonora.
Okay. All right. So now we got your story. So I'm going to go back to mine. Yes, I was in the military. I was I was a corpsman. I thought I wanted to be in the medical field. Got in, ended up going to physical therapy school because I didn't want to get on a ship. So I was like, I want to go to that specialty school, and I went to Fort Sam Houston, Texas, which is funny because it's an all-military school, and it's exactly where my son's going for his training. So,
and you were Navy and he's Army?
Yeah, because it's an all-military school that that's just for his medical training. So I was after I got getting out of the service because I worked on getting my bachelor's and my master's while I was in. I realized I don't like patient care, right? So I wanted to be in the business world. So first got out and I did computer sales where I sold through, and then I ended up creating a whole thing where I sold through the military exchange systems, our computers, and they were customized. This was back in the day before anything that you have now. And then eventually I fell into the mortgage industry. I didn't know I wanted to be in it, but what's nice about it is it's about numbers, and it's about certain things you can do for people. People come to you to see what they can do. One of the things that I run into is I can do almost anything for everybody else, but for myself, it's a lot harder. I don't know if you've run into this, but when we were looking at, buying a piece of property to build on, I can do it in a heartbeat for everybody else. But when I think about myself, I don't realize that, this is what my clients go through. I know exactly how they feel now because they are unaware, and I'm like, don't worry about it. We can get it done. Well, I didn't have that person.
Right.
Because I don't listen to myself most of the time. So, I mean, that's, so I was in San Diego. I worked basically on the phone for the first 12 years of my life, selling mortgages through 47 different states. So I got to talk to people on the phone. I got to get connected with them. So now for me, if I don't sit in front of with somebody, it's not a big deal. I still connect with them. I explain everything the same way. And I think radio's helped because people can't see what we're doing unless they go to our Real Estate Jerky, YouTube channel. Most of the time they have to just listen to us and we have to paint a picture for them. And that's basically what we do when you talk to somebody on the phone. It's hard to buy a piece of real estate on the phone because you have to go see it and touch it. And pictures don't always do it justice, right? Or sometimes it's like, wow, that's amazing. And then you get there going, what the heck, right? There's been a couple of properties I saw that were like, wow, that's amazing. That's for how much. You get there like, how did they create these walls?
How did they make it so that neighbor wasn't right there?
Right.
I know it. I've seen those too.
Yeah. I mean, when you're in the real estate, you have to see everything, right?
Right. Well, it's funny. I started out with a degree in fashion merchandising and a lot of advertising classes and a lot of marketing, and I really liked the marketing part. So combining that with the life experience of flipping houses and drawing house plans and things like that, it just kind of made it so real estate was a natural for me. And I like talking to anyone. Right. Everyone and anyone.
Well, it's important because you get in our world, for most of I'd say 90% of your clients, you become friends or and they come back to you if you stay, keep connected to them, send stuff to them. And that's important, helping people get in and helping them get to their dream that they want. And that kind of, for me, I thought our house in Modesto and our cabin was our final things. But then my wife decided that she wants her forever home a little bit away from people, not too far away from people, but still where you don't have your neighbor right there. She wants to build a house now.
Right.
I guess me too. But
and you.
Yeah. I'm along for the ride.
And I'm helping.
I'm along for the ride, so what are you going to do? All right, so we got about a minute before we go to break. I don't want to get into too much more of my story, but is there anything you want to add?
Well, I was going to say is this last week I was at an inspection and there was a vacation renter there from Oakland, and I started talking to him and talking, and it turned out he was familiar and friends with one of our friends' fathers who had passed away. Oh. And I connected the friend and him together so they could reminisce and talk. And it was actually pretty amazing to hear that, he was familiar with this guy's dad and the restaurant he had in Oakland.
Wow.
A long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, this world, we're so connected. It's not 6 degrees of separation. It's only a couple degrees of separation.
But we're about 2.5 hours away from that whole area. And that
I know, but
right there in Twain Harte.
Well, everybody comes there. Everybody wants a vacation there from the Bay Area. So, all right, we got to go out to break. I'm a veteran myself, and I think it's important to support members of our military. We always honor veteran business owners during the show. If you are a vet or you know a vet that could use some free advertising, please message us their name and number to pound 250. Again, say when you do that from your mobile phone, say the keyword Real Estate Jerky and leave the message, and we'll take it from there. And we'll talk to you when we get back. All right, so that's going pretty easy. It's all about us.
I know. I wonder if they'll let Redmond in.
Why?
Because he was going to get Starbucks and then was going to come in. Is he right there?
No, I see Jay's picture in there. I guess I thought he was over there, but you can go let him in. You got a second.
I don't know if he's out there.
You know, so that first page, the second, so go back to the beginning. See here, second page.
Focused on our
Did you print on both sides of the paper?
She did.
Yeah, so right there. See
Yeah.
where it starts there and then goes to the next page?
Yeah,
So
I have
I
this-
want to
I
make
have
sure
the
we go
next page.
over that during this next segment again. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because
12 minutes.
we didn't thank the engineers and everybody. But we should maybe do that at the end.
Get your serving size of real estate jerky on Power Talk 1360 KFIV.
And we're back. This is Ed Parcaut. I'm your host. And for those of you turning in, I have Betsy Hurst-Younger here from Century 21 up in Twain Harte. Thanks again for being here today on our anniversary show.
Yay.
So we're in the last few segments, we've been talking about reasons why we're doing this and how come I got involved doing this a year ago. And I think it's really important for people to understand that one of the reasons was because I said before was because of the downturn. A lot of the, I don't want to keep saying terms like millennials, but a lot of people who were at a certain age during that period of time saw their parents lose their home, right? And the trauma that they went through when they did that has made them think that home ownership's not important. Don't you agree?
Yes,
you don't
although
have to agree.
I have, because our area is still so affordable, I've actually sold a lot of homes to millennials. You know, friends of my kids since kindergarten.
Right.
I mean, I've said this before. I've got kids that are 31, 30, and 24. My 24-year-old actually bought property last year.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but 1 in 3, and I'm just going to say the word millennial. I hate.
Right.
So we'll just say 1 in 3 under the age of 35 own a home. 1 in 3 at the end of 2018. That is about 9% lower than at other times in history. Mm-hmm. So you can still see that there is somewhat of an effect. But also we have to look at, to me, affordability is a little bit high, less these days, right?
Affordability is less. Kids are concentrating more on their careers than building their families. Back when, you used to have families by the time you were in their mid-20s,
right? But
maybe even younger. And so then you needed to have a home that was big enough for them, or a yard that they wanted to play in, or be by a school that you wanted them to attend.
Well, now you just have that animal that you want to, because you make the money and you have one person, and now you have a dog or whatever, and you have to have a yard for them to run in.
Exactly.
Because if you have any animals, it's very hard to rent.
It is.
And also, did you know that 63% of millennials, or we'll just say in that age grade, regret buying a home?
And why was that?
Because they didn't factor in the costs and responsibilities of home ownership.
Of like maybe putting in a new roof?
Well, I think a lot of people don't explain, hey, by the way, get a home warranty.
Right.
That alone will cover a lot of cost issues that you might have the first year. A lot of people, I don't think they know that they can renew that, right?
Correct. It's a little bit more expensive than it originally was, but they can renew and renew and renew.
Right. And make sure it's the right home warranty. And the reason I say that is I had a friend of mine call me and they said, my home warranty is only going to pay $800 of my air conditioning that went out. That's $5,600.
Right.
Oh, that's the wrong policy.
Right.
That's the wrong company.
Well, it's also important, though, to do the maintenance on those systems so they don't have an excuse to not cover them.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, but
Service.
but if you, again, with a home warranty, it's making sure you go through a reputable company, right?
With a great rep that you can actually contact.
Right. And in our area, we have a few. So if you need somebody, just contact Betsy. She'll let you know who to talk to. But I did see that recently. I'm sorry, I'm getting away from my mic there. Americans have never felt better. I saw an article that says Americans have never felt better about buying a house than they do right now. And
Why do they think that is? Why do they think it changed?
I think it's a lot of people. You want me to get in the whole article, or you just
No. Do you think it's they're confident because they don't feel like they're paying over what they should be paying, or they think they're getting a good deal?
I think that they're seeing that house prices are continually to go up on a steady base, right? We've always had cycles of home ownership, 10 years and we go down, or with us, and after the Great Recession, things went down so low. In some areas, they still haven't come fully back up.
Correct.
And Twain Harte's one of those areas, if I remember right.
Correct.
And
When the recession hit, when the market dumped, I call it the dump. It went down for years. It went down for probably at least 6 years. It ended in 2013.
for you guys.
For us, at the end, December 2013, we saw a turn after that to the positive. But before that, when it was in 2004, 2005, portion of 2006, we didn't have anything on our market under 300,000. And now you can buy a house for under 300,000, a decent place for under 300,000 still.
Right. And you can always commute, too. I mean, if you can't find something in the valley, move up to Sonora, Twain Harte. It's not that far to commute. I mean,
It's actually a nice drive.
yeah. Unless it's a weekend with all the trailers. I'm just not saying that, but
Well, we came back
occasion-
from San Francisco on Sunday, and we came back from San Francisco on Sunday. So we were going against
right.
everybody that was coming back. But it's not like Tahoe. I was in Tahoe a long time ago with 2 little kids in car seats, and it took 8 hours to get home in the car.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's when we looked at
It's another
buying-
reason why we came to Sonora.
Right. And that's for us. When we were looking to buy a cabin, we looked in Tahoe. We looked and we talked to a bunch of people and said, "All right, you have a place in Tahoe. How often do you use it?" And they say, in the beginning, all the time, but
Right.
now it's only once or twice a year because it takes so long to get there. Where we are now, we have the place. You know, you're talking an hour and 30 minutes max. You know,
Yeah.
and it's 71 miles. So
Right.
it just depends on how long it takes you to get through that 71 miles. So for most people, so you think about that, okay, well, it's, you know, I want to commute now because I've sold a lot. I helped do lending on a bunch of people who moved there and are still commuting to the Bay Area.
Yes.
And they might stay over 1 or 2 nights or then they telecommute 1 or 2 days. I think more and more people will be telecommuting. More and more people will be moving out of those cities because it's so crazy.
I agree. And we do have good internet in a lot of places in our area.
Right. And it's getting better.
The foothills actually have
And
increased. Yeah.
I'm actually shocked how well my cell coverage has increased in the last couple of years up there. In certain areas where I usually drive through and it drops,
Right.
it doesn't drop anymore.
There's one weird area that it shouldn't drop that it does drop, though,
No, it's up
It didn't used to.
up that curve by Confidence.
on the bypass. No.
Oh, the bypass. Mine didn't
Down by
drop-
the junction.
Mine didn't drop the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So benefits of owning a home, you know, my big thing for me is building personal wealth through home ownership. You need to do that. If you don't, I know a lot of people who rented for 20 years and then they're like, I want to buy now. And then they can't afford it at all because their fixed income or whatever it is, they can't afford it.
Right.
But if they are actually owned a home, then they're in the game and as everything goes up, because we're still, CoreLogic put out a thing saying that they're going to see 5.1% appreciation over the next year.
Nice.
You know, and that's not, and that was nationwide numbers. They put out an article a few months ago. They said Modesto's going up 10% this year.
Wow.
And I think that has to do with the fact that we're not building any homes. I mean, there's a few, you know, some homes, but not. We had somebody on a month or so ago, and they were talking about different tracts that were coming up and they're going to
Right.
be selling. We're talking only a few hundred homes, so we're not talking thousands of homes. In 2005, when we overbuilt, it was thousands and thousands of homes being built. Now we're talking about a few hundreds.
The entire
over
state
5
of
years.
California is behind on new construction by tens of thousands.
And yeah.
Lots.
I even
Maybe
think
even
one
more.
of the local papers put out an article that said that, you know, we had 12,000 families move in and only 300 and some homes built or some ridiculous thing.
That's
So-
why rents are so high.
and why house values are going up.
Right. Well, and it's why it's a good thing to buy a rental.
Right, yeah. Or buy your house to live in.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they
The
say,
second home or a rental
a lot of
property.
people said sell the rentals. You know, the only people I know that are selling rentals are putting it into commercial because commercial is still down from what I'm hearing. That's just what I heard. But there's a lot of programs, different programs out there. So
So I would suggest if people are thinking of buying and they weren't ready to buy a home and they had some money, would buy a vacant lot, buy some land so you can eventually build what you want. Yeah.
but as you know, because I mean, even though it's more expensive, and us looking into it, we found out that in January, solar has to be on all homes somehow,
Correct.
built in some of the homes, and you know, that's just the way it's going to be. You know, certain things change, you have to abide by.
And that's for new construction.
correct.
Yeah.
Not remodels, but new construction.
Correct.
Yeah. And that's when you said build your home in the future. Things change. Like now you have to have sprinklers in them, right? Which you didn't have to have before. And if you're on a well, that means your system has to be able to go through, you know, it's just, there's all these things that you have to do that you don't think about, right?
Right. So we have lots of lots up there on public water.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, if you're going to do it well, it's expensive in the beginning, but then over time it pays for itself.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for your water.
Correct.
Sounds good.
But eventually, someone said that they were trying to figure out a way to meter wells.
Yes, I heard that. That was during the drought.
Not anymore.
I haven't heard one word about it since we started getting rain.
Well, I'm
don't know.
Just make sure you drill lower, further down than you did before. With the place I was looking at, one of the neighbors was saying how his dad had drilled 5 wells, and then when they went back to the original one he drilled, that they couldn't get water out, went 100 more feet, and it was so much coming out of
pressure,
there that it almost pushed the bit back out.
I built.
Yeah.
They just have to get the right company and the right driller. Yeah.
All right. So what else do we want to go over? Home ownership is America's first step to building personal wealth, like I keep saying. Misinformation about the process of buying a home. I think a lot of people think you need to have 20% down, and you don't.
I just had a lady buy a house with what was it? FHA, with HFA was her down payment. And then we got a seller credit for closing costs.
Right.
She literally had hardly anything out of pocket.
Right, but up in your area, I mean, depending on their numbers, that CalHFA versus USDA, CalHFA is like 43 back-end ratios, and USDA is 41. So if you're so close like that, you're better off. For me, I think.
Right.
For the
so there's
the
just different options up there for
Well, there's-
not really having to come up with any money.
And
And if you were a veteran, VA also.
Yeah, 100% financing.
Right.
Yeah, that's what's great for what. And actually, in January, they're changing the VA, and they don't have this because it was signed into law a month ago, and basically it starts January 1st, and they're going to make it to where most vets can do 100% financing at any dollar amount.
Oh, instead of limit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's not by county, certain things you can go up to. And so we don't have the specifics on that completely yet.
Right.
Because even though VA might come out with it saying it's here, then you have the other people who actually issue the loans, and they want to make sure there's no differences.
Well, and when someone buys a property with a VA loan, the house has to be in a lot better condition than if someone was just buying it as is. So they have to provide the seller would have to provide a Section 1 and 2 certification from a pest company.
Right, it has to have a clear pest.
Yeah.
But because they want to protect the veteran.
Right.
So it's important. I mean, and that's not, in most places, that's not a big deal to have a clear pest.
Okay.
But in your area, if you have a deck or whatever, it
Right.
could be an issue, and that's hard to do, right?
Right. But in this kind of a market, sellers are doing more and more.
Right. And I think
For
a
a
lot,
buyer.
and also for veterans, because a lot of people want to help vets who have come back where we haven't helped them before. So, hey, let's go out to a break. Thank you for listening to Real Estate Jerky. We'll be right back after this break. Remember, you can listen to us at any time through our podcast at iHeartMedia.com, through iTunes or Google Play, and we'll talk to you when we get back. All right, last segment, 10 minutes. Oh, we got 9.5 minutes.
We're almost done.
Yep. What, you want longer?
We haven't thanked the engineers and stuff.
I really don't. You can do that as we're leaving.
Oh, and I got to talk about my listings.
So yeah, so we'll get him back. I want to talk about one thing real quick, and then I'll get you into your listing. Let's go, sir.
Expert info you crave. Real Estate Jerky on Power Talk 1360 KFIV.
And we're back for our final segment of the show. For you just turning in, I'm Ed Parcaut, your mortgage advisor at Lending for Living and the host. And I'm here with Betsy Hurst-Younger, realtor, Century 21 Wildwood Properties in Twain Harte. Now, before I get into a lot of stuff, I want people to realize that you don't just deal with mountain properties, right? You deal with everything.
Oh, I deal with everything, but I specialize in the Tuolumne County area.
Right.
I just feel that it's better for the buyer to use someone that's local in their own areas, but because I know people, I can refer them to the
to the right
people.
person.
Mm-hmm.
So not the wrong person, but the right person.
No, and it's funny because we kind of were talking about whether or not it's the coastal or another country even, and I know people in other countries
Well, I
that
mean,
sell real estate.
really,
Yeah,
and that's through your car.
Century 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I know you have a few listings you want to talk about, but before I get there, I don't know if I told you this, but we had a listener call me this week, and they were asking about if they sold their house, how much, what kind of capital gains would they have, this kind of stuff. And first thing I said to him was, call their CPA. That's correct.
Exactly.
Good job, Betsy. Thanks for telling me that. I'm glad you were on the same page
Tax
there.
advisor.
That's
yes.
right. Because I can't talk about tax things, but I I talked to a CPA before I came to the show, and I was asking her, what is that rule? And the rule is for each individual is $250,000. So if you're a married couple, then that's $500,000 that you can not have to pay capital gains on. But you got to talk to your tax person to see what they've done with your property, what your base is, and all this calculation they've done over the years. So before you do anything else at all, talk to your tax person.
Exactly.
Because I still hear a lot of people wanting to, sell and move out of California. I mean, not every state's better, but I mean, there's 3 things you have to worry about when you move out of the state of California. You know what that is?
Taxes and taxes?
No, weather, and weather.
Oh, okay. I would think weather and taxes.
Well, weather. Now you have to deal with weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what a lot of people don't realize. I've talked to a lot of people who moved and then they came back.
Yeah.
Because of this.
It was way too cold in Pittsburgh.
We
had some friends
or
lived in
way
Pittsburgh.
too humidity in Texas or Florida, or and some places. I remember during the downturn, I was helping people in Florida save their homes and stuff, not from the hurricane, but from losing it,
Right.
and their insurance for their house was almost as much as their mortgage payment was.
Each month?
Yes.
Oh.
Like on certain condos,
Right.
certain things. Yeah, because of the hurricanes and certain things that hit them back then. So this insurance thing that we talked about, and we talk about in the mountains, and it's not really a big deal. The other issue is, I know we talked about that there was some, the insurance up in the foothills. Well, it's the same, or in the mountains. It's the same thing in San Diego and certain places that back up to certain land. Their insurance went up. It's across the board in California. It has nothing to do just where you live. It could be
Correct.
anywhere. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about a few properties you want to talk about?
Well, since we were talking about how the market was changing a little bit, I have some price reductions on
You mean
several
price
listings.
improvements,
Price improvements.
not reductions.
Price correction.
There you
That's
go.
what somebody
Improvements.
calls it.
Improvements.
Oh, I've got a listing that's right above Twain Harte where it accommodates lots of people, 3 bedrooms, a family room, a living room, and a bonus room. And that went down by $40,000. The address of that one is 23643 Ontario Drive. The address is Twain Harte, but it's in an area called Lakewood Park that has its own private lake. And then there's another one that's within about a block and a half of the actual Twain Harte Lake with lake membership that was reduced $20,000 this morning. It's now $460,000. It's located at 22544 Golf Club Drive. It's a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, literally a 3-bedroom house and a 2-bedroom house. 2 kitchens, 1 on each level. And then
What does that go for?
That one's for $460,000.
See, that's
I know.
inexpensive. You could rent out the other one and live in one of them.
That's the way it was when these people bought it. There was a lady that lived in the top portion is 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and she rented out the bottom portion.
Now, is that considered 2 units, that one?
It's connected by the inside stairwell.
So is it a
it's
single
really
family
it's
with
single
accessory?
family.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then one more on North Tuolumne Road, 21341, and that one is located on over 3 acres. It's been reduced by over $20,000. It's now $429,900, and it is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a 4-car garage, and the garage is powered by solar. Has
Just
views.
the garage?
Yeah, just the garage. Yeah. But it's also got a wood stove in there for heat. You could eat off the floor.
So basically, that's where the guy goes when
Yeah.
he gets home from work and he doesn't go see his wife. Is that what the deal is?
It could have been. But
That wouldn't work in my house.
no. The house itself is nice. The bathroom and the master is beautiful. And it's,
No, I'm just saying,
it's
but they
been
had a man
remodeled. So,
cave.
he did have a man cave.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other one?
Yeah, well, I've got this one off of North Tuolumne Road that's on 2.37 acres right outside of Twain Harte, and that one is 22980 Frediani Way. It's private, and it's nice to be able to sit back in there amongst the trees, and it is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, and it goes for $469,900.
Wow.
Yeah, you can get acreage near Twain Harte. It's
Right.
still affordable.
Very affordable.
I know. And we've got several places with shops. And of course, if you want something with an accessory unit, which is an in-laws quarters or an extra unit that could help you make the mortgage payment, if you Airbnb, We've got those up
Technically,
there
I don't want to
too.
know about that when I'm doing the loan. Basically, you have to qualify for the whole house payment.
Okay, but that's all right. But
You can do whatever you want. You can have your kid live there. You can do whatever you want later.
if you make the house work for you and helps you make the payment, and that's all the better.
And a lot of people, if you're looking for a second home, that's only 10% down. If you're looking for your primary, sometimes you can get 100% financing up there, so as we talked about earlier. I just want to put out there to our listeners that if they know of any person or any show that we should do, feel free to contact us at pound 250, leave a message about what they think, or they might even get me if I pick up the phone at that day, or you can text us, or I should say you can email us at radiorealestatejerky.com, or you can actually do Twitter or Facebook and leave us those comments, and then we know who else they want us to hear from and be on the show.
Right.
Because, we leave it to Marlene and us to come up with different people. It'd be nice to see what other listeners, our listeners would like to hear about. Don't you think?
I think so. And since it's the anniversary show, we should probably thank Marlene.
Okay, did you?
Thank you, Marlene Champlin, and your engineers and your crew.
Yes. I want to thank everybody who's helped out, even the camera guy. I don't know if people know this, but we videotape it and put it on our Real Estate Jerky YouTube channel, so you can actually see it behind the scenes and during the show, so nothing's been edited at all.
Do we have time to talk about that contest?
You still have about 2 minutes, so yes.
You know more about the contest.
What contest is that?
Something about winning a new kitchen remodel or bath
I have no idea about
remodel?
the contest.
Yeah. That's a guy, let's see.
Well, that's a lot of silence you have there. Anyway,
No, it's okay. I wanted to know if I could win.
I don't see here. We're legal aspect homeowners. I have no idea where I must have missed it on the show.
It's okay.
I didn't know about it. Sorry.
It's something about, wouldn't it be cool if we could give away a kitchen or a bath remodel?
It would be cool, but who's going to pay for it?
Somebody named Steve?
Oh, is it really? MKB?
I don't know.
Oh, well, we'll find out
I
more
think it's
about
a future
it.
guest.
Oh, really? We'll talk more about it on our future show, I guess.
I just wanted to know if I could win, and I don't think I can.
I don't think it's too, I don't think they go up to where you are.
Okay.
And when you have a husband who is somewhat of a handyman
That's
contractor,
right.
I understand that they don't work at home.
He is this week. He is this
No,
week.
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
on a
by the
normal
time
basis.
you get home,
Yeah.
you're so tired. What are you going to do? Why do you
Right.
want to keep working? I feel sorry for certain type of people who do certain work that don't want to bring it home.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And my daughter was 4. My youngest was 4 years old. Mommy, don't answer the phone one more time.
Oh, really?
But like I said, you have to be flexible.
Right.
But you have to have limits so you can enjoy your family.
Right. No, and you do have to take a day off. For me, it's Monday through Friday. I work, and I'll work late on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Weekends only by appointment, and I'm not always available. But people in this day always want you to be available 24/7. I need an answer right now. And,
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm not a doctor. But we only have a few seconds left. Why don't you say goodbye, Betsy?
Goodbye.
All right.
Wait.
Thanks for being on, Betsy.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.